The views and opinions expressed during this live stream do not necessarily represent the views of Framing the World. Individuals are invited to be interviewed for their unique perspective on specific topics, and not because Framing the World agrees with or endorses all other areas of opinion. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah, like, you know, in Revelation 21, verse 8, like the first thing it says is, but the fearful, right? Like the very first thing it says is fearful. So, you know, I think that, you know, if we're afraid of stuff, that is not good. Like, you know, when you're afraid, it's basically what you're saying is you don't trust God. You're not leaning on God and stuff, right?
Right.
And I was having this discussion with like Shane in our group here in Toronto, like our soul winning group and stuff. And if you think about it, you know, if you look at the entire population of the earth, you know, we're about, what, 8 billion or so, right? Now, how many of those people are actually saved? Like a very, very tiny percentage of the human population is actually saved. You take all these, you know, like, you know, Islam and Judaism and Sikhism, Buddhism, Hinduism, all this stuff here. You know, they're obviously not saved. They don't believe on the Lord Jesus Christ. But then when you take all the Christian-based religions, you know, even, you know, Catholicism, Orthodox, and Protestants, and Jehovah's Witness, Mormon, and Seventh-day Adventists, all that stuff there, they're not saved. They believe in faithless works. And then you take the actual, you know, people that claim to believe the Bible, you know, let's say Baptists or any other, you know, churches that believe the gospel or whatever. There's so few. Like, you know, 99.99% of the world is not saved. So if you take the people that are actually saved, right, you know, how many of those people that are actually saved, say, have read their Bible cover to cover? Very, very, very few of those people. And how many of those people that have read their Bible cover to cover or study it, how many of them actually go soul winning, like as a population of the earth, like very, very small percentage? And then how many of those people that go soul winning are actually effective soul winners? They're efficient at what they do. It's a tiny, tiny percentage. And if you think about this, we are part of that very tiny, small group of Christians that are saved, have read our Bibles, we soul win, and we're effective at soul winning. So, you know, just think logically, if you're God, and, you know, your main thing is just to get people saved and to get them in heaven, you know, it would make sense to me that you would try to protect those people that are actually going out and doing the work and trying to preach the gospel and get people saved. So I believe, just like, you know, kind of like what Stephen was saying, is that, you know, during the tribulation, I believe that if you're faithful to God, you don't fear, you know, and you just go out and do the work, I believe God will protect those Christians. And I believe that those are the ones that will make it through the tribulation and will get to see Jesus coming in the clouds. And that's just been my prayer, you know, for our group here and all Christians that are doing the same thing, that they would be counted worthy to make it through the tribulation and to actually get to witness Jesus coming in the clouds. I think that's what it's going to take, is that blessing is going to come at a cost, and that cost is obedience.
All right, guys. New Normal Part 3, featuring...
How you doing, guys?
Shane Jantz. We have Rob Vitellano, and we have on the line, coming to you from Arizona. Are you in Arizona?
I think I still am, yeah.
And we have Logan.
What's up, everybody?
All right, so we are going to be talking about the new normal, and it might turn into Trucker Lifestyle Part 3, and it might turn into whatever. I don't know where we're going to go with this.
I know where I'm starting.
Where are you starting? Come on,
Logan. This might turn into Trucker Lifestyle, but I know I'm starting. I seen it. Well,
right off the bat.
Right off the bat, I'm going for it. I'm going for the kill. I'm going for the kill. So Rob's up in there in Toronto. He's eating some mi van mi. He's eating some nice like chicken and stuff like that. He just finished soul winning. But yesterday, you know, this is all about Trucker Lifestyle. Yesterday, I seen on your Facebook page, White Castle.
Yeah, what
in the world is going? What happened there? Where did I lose you, Logan?
Like, I'm not gonna. Well, first off, I'm not gonna go to White Castle for the first time ever and just get like 2 sliders. You know, like I'm gonna go for it.
Do you not know that White Castle just goes? It's not for truckers. It goes right through you.
So that's what's been going on with me the last couple days.
White Castle goes through you. You're only get like 4 miles down the road, and then it's over, bro. I just seen that photo, and I was just like, I lost Logan. He's gone to the dark side.
All right, just for those of you guys who have no idea what we're talking about right now, this is the post
And
right here. We have proof,
And it's on the
Oh, you
steering
have it
wheel.
up online?
First time for everything. It's about to go down, he says. This is the picture. And then you proceed to tell us about how this was 10 burgers you ate. You ate almost.
Yeah, see, what you don't see is there's a whole nother row of burgers behind that first section.
It's right there on the dash. You can see it.
Now I see it. Now I see it very clearly.
There was 10 total.
How did you not throw up is the question.
Yeah.
Well, because I stopped. I had some restraint, and I didn't polish off the 10th one. I got about halfway down.
Wait. What would
And I
even
said, you know what?
possess you to
Enough
order
is enough.
10 burgers to begin with? Is there some kind of competition?
Well,
Do you
my
get the
team-
10th one free or something?
my team driver was like, that's the jam right there. That's what you get.
Oh, man.
And I was like, really, that many? He was like, yeah, that's what you do.
No.
And I'm like, okay, man, if that's a...
Are you sure it wasn't part of like an initiation or something like that? He was hazing you or something to see
he was
how far can he go down the road when he eats 10 White Castle burgers?
Well, I'm telling my wife about the meal, and she's like, so I'm like, yeah, it came with like 2 fries, and so I got one of them onion rings. Like it came with 2 drinks, and she's like, wait, she's like, it came with 2 drinks. She's like, I'm like, yeah. She's like, that's 2 meals. You're supposed to share that.
It's a family.
I'm like, well, I don't. It seemed like the right thing to do at the time.
I love this was it meme that I threw up? Is that a meme? What is that called? A GIF. I love this GIF because it really says how I feel right now.
Well, first off, okay, it's a GIF. Okay, it was a very good GIF. We're not eating Jiffy peanut butter. Okay, it's a GIF.
That White Castle is a gift that keeps on giving, right? So,
It was good.
wow.
That was a very funny. That was a very funny response.
All right, my wife is showering me with blessings here. Thank you, honey. I got some food.
Yeah.
So where are you at right now, Logan?
I believe I'm somewhere near the border of Arizona and California. So we're on our way to California. We're running behind. So it was a super tight schedule to begin with, and we got caught in some traffic, so we're kind of running behind now. So we're under the gun.
Wait, you said we. Now are you? I thought you were solo. Did you go back?
No,
to
I got
team?
a new. I got a. We got a new hire. So I got a teammate. I'm gonna team with him for a while and run and see how it goes.
You got a new hire, so are you teaching him how to do this?
Wow.
No, he's been doing that a lot longer than me.
Wow, he's gone really up.
Right,
He went from like trainee
I'm not
to
training
White
already.
Castle to trainer now.
Yeah, no, not that quick. No,
Once
he's been
you-
doing it a lot longer than I have.
Once you eat that 10th burger, you become.
that's it.
It's like
He maybe he passed the hazing. That's what happened.
Right.
He passed the initiation,
Yeah.
and now he can
And we-
start training.
That's the problem. I couldn't patch to the 10th one where the sky opened up and all was made revealed to me.
But maybe that was the test that you didn't go for all 10. Maybe
Yeah,
you
there
were
was
smart
restraint.
enough
Yeah, I
to
showed some
know
restraint.
that you didn't have to do it, and that just was going to show the
He
future
said-
of your trucking
that's-
career.
He was like, this is what you want. It's like, this is what you should get. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, so that's like, we're going to eat this in one sitting. And so I crush everything but like half of the 10th one. And I'm like, I got to stop. And I look over and he
ate
had like
9
a
and
whole
a half?
bag left. He had saved like a whole bag. And I'm like,
wow.
well, that
he didn't
that's
mean
much
all
more
at
reasonable.
once.
Well,
No.
But that can taste good later.
no, White Castle does not taste good cold. So you
I
know
can
you would have to
imagine,
chuck it if you didn't eat all 10. You would just throw it.
I said, how long did it take you to eat all that?
Oh man,
I don't want to say.
Rob, have you ever had White Castle?
No, I haven't.
Oh, bro, it tastes okay. It's not horrible, but it tastes okay. But then literally, like, a few miles down the road, you're looking for a bathroom. I went to White Castle in the 90s. We were at me and my buddy. We drove down to Atlanta, and And we pulled up for this cheap gas. We're filling up, and there's this place called White Castle. And we're like, hey, what's that? So we just went through the drive-thru, and it's like, like 25-cent hamburgers at the time. So we just got a bag full, just like 20 or 30 burgers and fries and all that stuff. And then we started driving on our way, and literally, like, before the next exit, we're like, I don't feel so good. And he's like, I don't feel good either. And then we had to stop, and for the rest of the ride, we were just pulling over for a few exits to go to the bathroom. So I don't know how you did it, Logan, but you're a better man than me.
Well, circling it all back into the new normal of the show, we'll circle it back into the show.
Yeah.
So, they only had one entrance. You couldn't go. They only had one door you could go in. And like on the sidewalk, they got like the tape down, that you're supposed to go through. So they had one entrance. You get all the chairs and all the tables are all on, stacked up, so you can't sit down. They had like a counter where like normally you would have like a high top and you would sit at the counter and eat. That had signs all over it like no standing, no sitting, no eating. Everything you had to take it and you had to go. And then like they had the plexiglass up. And so that was the new normal at White Castle. You can't sit down and enjoy your meal. You got to sit in your car like a hobo and eat it off your steering wheel.
Wow,
that's crazy. You're not gonna. COVID doesn't go to White Castle anyway. So like, I guess they didn't get the memo, right?
Bro, White Castle here's COVID.
Yeah.
Well, the workers are probably loving that people aren't coming into their shops, so they're like, cool.
They don't have to clean it.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't. They you couldn't tell. They weren't very motivated.
Well, I doubt they're getting paid that much over there.
Yeah.
No, it's hard. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you never want to yell at people that serve your food. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Especially at White Castle.
We should rename the show to the new Abnormal because that's just not right.
So you made this very cryptic post, and basically this show is going to be all about your posts on Facebook.
Okay.
So you made this post. This was 9 hours ago. Hashtag New Mexico is a garbage state that we should trade back to Mexico for Rocky Point.
I stand by that 100%. Okay, I've driven through New Mexico multiple times now, from top to bottom. Okay, it's got zero redeeming qualities. Nobody lives there. Okay, anybody that I know, it's like they were from New Mexico. Like no one stays there. It's basically like a big reservation. Like that's the field that I have. Like it's just a garbage state. Like there's nothing going on for it.
I stand by that.
The only thing is maybe like they have
they have Albuquerque.
Yeah, I know.
And they have.
What does that mean?
Look,
what does that mean? What does they have Albuquerque like?
They have the site of the first nuclear bomb in New Mexico. Isn't that something?
Maybe that's what happened. Maybe that's why Logan they never recovered, right? So that's why Logan's like they could just keep it. It's,
I mean, the first nuclear bomb was set off in New Mexico.
Like, why didn't we like when we were taking this land from Mexico? Why weren't we like, hey, you can have New Mexico. We're gonna take Baja California. Okay, it's a fair deal. Take it.
Yeah.
So Logan,
there's nothing good about it.
Logan, what happened in New Mexico?
Yeah, tell us the real
just tell
story.
us what happened.
Nothing happened in New Mexico. Nothing ever happens in New Mexico. Oh, you know what did happen? No, you know what did happen?
Here it is. We got it.
I'm trying to.
Finally, the truth comes out.
We're running behind, and I'm trying to. So when you fill a truck, you have diesel fuel, and then you have DEF, which is basically it helps the diesel engine run a little cleaner, a little more efficient. Okay, so you have to fill that up, and so I'm standing there, it's not working. I reset the pump, and nothing's coming out.
You got the dead
It's always a
pump?
mess.
That's it.
So I go inside, and there's a line of like 10 truckers deep, and there's one lady doing the cash register. So finally get up there, and I'm like, "Are your DEF lines working?" And she's like, "No, it froze last night." I'm just like, "What?" Just another reason why New Mexico is just a garbage a garbage state.
Now hold
so I had
on,
to
hold
buy
on.
a box of it.
You got to explain what the DEF lines are. What are these DEF lines?
So when
it's that special gas,
when
right?
you go to the
So it's special.
emissions?
It's a special fluid. Yeah, that helps the emissions of the diesel engine. It helps it burn cleaner.
Yeah.
It helps it be more efficient. So you have to. So I had to buy they sell them in boxes. I had to get a box of it and pour it into the tank.
Yeah.
But it was just like we're just already behind. So yeah. But you know what? Honestly, I made that post before I even ran into that problem. It was just a reconfirmation. Like, yeah, you were correct, Logan. I'm putting that up. And you know what? I haven't gotten one person that was like, hey, I don't appreciate that because I like Hatch chilies and blah blah blah. It's no. Everybody knows what I said was true. It's garbage state.
Go ahead, Rob. Ask your question.
Yeah, I was asking Logan, what happens if you don't run that DEF fluid?
I don't think there's. I just don't think the engine runs as efficient. I think you get more.
I said, I know what happens.
What happens?
Okay, tell me. Yeah, Shane knows.
I know
Shane's obviously.
Actually, my truck has DEF problems. I keep getting DEF warnings in the truck, and so what happens is it derates you, which means it slows you down to 5 miles an hour.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if you,
I didn't know it was that extreme.
Yeah. So you basically it makes the truck inoperable. So I've had that happen, and there is a bypass for the truck. You're driving a Volvo, right?
Yeah.
So if you ever come across that, give me a call. I'll tell you what to do.
Okay, cool.
Oh, wow.
So does it just put the truck in limp mode?
Yeah, total limp mode. Like you'll be like you're just driving along, and then it gives you a lot of warnings. It'll say like 60 minutes, 20 minutes, 12 minutes, 6 minutes, like pull over now, right? So, if you're like barreling down the highway and you derate, it's kind of your own fault. You should be pulling over. But then when you pull over and if you try to get going again, you got like nothing. It's pedals down, and it's just crawling at that point. So
yeah, you got it.
Yeah,
you gotta have DEF.
Yeah, you gotta have the DEF, and actually that DEF. At the pumps where you had the bad line, that's actually a common thing in a lot of truck stops. So get used to it.
Yeah, I just noticed it's like the most finicky pump ever. Like you gotta find it like exactly the right position and angle and squeeze pressure to get it to come out.
Yeah, actually, yeah, you do, and they never lock down when you're trying to hold it down, and they spit at you too. So just be careful, when you're pumping it. They'll spit back at you, and you get all over your clothes or your face or whatever, right? So just be careful with that.
Right, but more importantly, going back to how New Mexico is a garbage state. So,
okay, Logan, pause. I just want to ask you one thing. Did you get the White Castle in New Mexico, and that's why you're bitter?
Oh
no, I got it outside of Chicago.
Okay, all right.
No, so one of the greatest mixed martial artists, John Jones, bases his camp out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, and he's just an absolute garbage human, right? So it just kind of fits in that he would be there training in the state of New Mexico, like you have a garbage state and a garbage human being as like the greatest. So I'm sure people in New Mexico think like, oh, our state's the greatest. We have Hatch Chili's and John Jones, but it's like no, it's just all garbage. Like. It's a garbage state. That's all.
Well, yeah. I don't know much about New Mexico. All I know is in Albuquerque they have an amazing pizza place that I stop there every time I'm driving through.
Yeah, you're driving through. You drive through New Mexico. No one goes to New Mexico.
Rob, wasn't that guy that we got saved on the highway there? Wasn't he in New Mexico?
Which guy? The Native American guy?
Yeah, the Native American guy that you know the story, right? You might want to tell it.
Yeah. Is that New Mexico? I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, they got a lot of casinos there, right? In New Mexico.
Yeah,
more than likely. There's Native Americans
I think it was
there.
New Mexico. I don't think it was Texas.
Yeah,
actually, I think it was by Albuquerque.
What was his branch of like? What was his tribe? I can't remember. I think Pastor Anderson was preaching on this like tribe or something. They were visiting them.
If it's New Mexico, it's probably Navajo.
Navajo, that's it. Yeah. He was Navajo. So yeah, Shane and I were going down to visit Faithful Word, and
First trip.
first trip. We were like, just barreling down the highway, and before we left, we were praying just that God would just put people in our path while we're on our way there that needed the gospel and stuff. And we see this guy like literally walking down the highway, just in the middle of nowhere, like he's walking in the concrete median, like in the middle of the westbound, eastbound lanes or whatever. So we pull over and you know, the guy said, "Oh, can you give me a lift?" So we end up giving him a lift to the next exit. And he told us a story that the reason he was walking was because his, you know, he was in the van with his cousin and her boyfriend or something like that. They were arguing. He just didn't want to hear them fighting, so he told him to stop, and he just walked out. So we picked this guy up. We ended up giving this guy the gospel. And he ended up getting saved. We dropped him off at the next exit. There was a casino there. So that was kind of crazy, because if we had gotten there a little bit earlier, a little bit later, we wouldn't have run into him. But yeah, I forgot what state that was. I guess it was New Mexico.
Actually, that guy, that was the first time we pulled up, when we pulled over and we gave him the gospel when he prayed. He was a big, like, burly, kind of like native guy. And he actually cried. And that was the first time I'd actually seen somebody cry when they got the gospel, because he was just so happy he got saved.
Yeah, that was crazy, man.
Yeah. So at least something good happened in New Mexico. I think we were right by Albuquerque when that happened.
Yeah, I just want to know like, you were 3 hours from me, Logan. Were you guys just in?
Yes.
You were so close. I was right. We were right there.
That's how close you are to Chicago?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe less. I should Google it.
Are those like Rob hours? They sound like Rob hours. It sounds like you're actually about 7 hours away from Chicago.
Yeah, bro, when you travel close to the speed of light, like time like stands still, it like slows right down.
Right.
Okay, here, 2 hours and 34 minutes away from Chicago.
Oh,
that's
wow,
how it's where my house is. 2 hours and 30. I could have came down there. I could have met you, man. I could have.
Yeah, we could have White Castle together.
Yeah, no.
That's why he didn't come. No. He got the White Castle and he said, "Forget Paul," right?
Yeah. It's all he had on his mind. But you were probably in a rush. You probably went down there, and you're with someone. Yeah,
we're jammed. This is a tight schedule. Yeah. We're jammed.
The one thing about trucking is you only lose time. You never make up time in trucking. So if you're behind the 8 ball when you start, then you're going to be even further back as you get going. So
yeah.
Hey, Logan, is your truck governed like Shane's? Does it have a governor on it?
Yeah, it's tapped at 70.
Oh, you get
at least
70.
70. That's good.
Mine's only 65.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah, most of the big trucking lines are like 65, 67. This one is tapped at 70. And then if you got a heavy load, when you're going downhill, you just turn off the cruise control, and you can start picking up some steam.
What kind of stuff do you haul, Logan?
It's everything. Shane will tell you the same thing. It's anything. I've hauled 30,000 pounds of cat food, empty beer bottles, full beer bottles, bottled water, toilet paper, trash bags, like just anything and everything you haul.
Sounds very sinful, Logan. It sounds like you're a part of something really bad there.
Exactly right. I'm sure you're gonna get a couple of hate comments on there.
Yeah.
Well, if I would
never work for a company that does that.
I would never, I go home by myself with no wife and no kids. No one to support.
In all fairness, you never know what you're picking up, though.
So. A whole trailer full of toilet paper. If they shut everything down again, they're gonna hijack your gonna hijack.
I know. Yeah, I could make a lot of money. Yeah.
Well, have you guys had any training on that, Logan? Because I think this is a valid discussion to have. What if someone does try to come and force you out of your truck? Have they talked about what the protocol is?
No, they haven't talked about when I started this. I told my wife and me and my new partner had a conversation of we will not be. You're not going to see me on the news. I will not be dragged out of a truck. So I don't care. So we'll be bringing things with us to ensure that doesn't happen.
Yep.
And you're not gonna see us on the news getting dragged out of a truck. That's for sure. I will be going home.
Yep. You know, if it's like a hijacking situation, they got a gun, they can just have the truck for all I care. Most
of it's going to be it's these riots, dude.
Yeah, if the riots, I would just put the pedal down and just keep going and honk the horn and.
Well, I love how they demonize the truck drivers for running over these people. It's like they're smashing your window, they're trying to get in, they're coming in the back door, you know, they're coming in the side door, they're trying to literally try to kill you.
Yeah, and
then it's like, oh, you're the bad guy.
Yeah, definitely.
When you run them over, it's like, get out of the stinking road.
Yeah. I think there's what happens too is the trucker can put themselves in a bad position. Like,
absolutely.
Like if someone's stopping the road, you're just stopped. Like don't try and squeeze past. Don't try and break the line and get through. I think it's the video of the guy where he tried to speed up through it. It's like, you know, just call dispatch and be like, there's about 50 people on the highway. I'm gonna be here for a few hours, and just wait till the cops clear them out. But then you never know
if you stop. No, that doesn't make sense. That thought process doesn't make sense, because if you stop, then they're gonna jump and mob you.
No. I'm saying, like, if you're like driving up to it, like they're, you know, like unless they are like coming out, like you're the first couple of sets of cars that they're stopping as they're like walking onto the highway. You know, like I'm talking about the guy, like if you're just because they're backing up the whole highway, you know. So if you're kind of just a few cars removed from it, you know, you're coming up to it and they're already out there. I would just stop well before and just wait, you know, and not put myself up where that line is where they're trying to get crazy. You kind of have, there's a certain, you have to be smart about not putting yourself in a bad position.
Yeah, when I was in school, they actually they didn't really cover this kind of topic for riots, but the instructor actually did teach us about route planning and how to plan your route and what to look for and stuff like that. Like, I gave you a few tips, just talking to you, Logan, but I think it all comes down to knowing where you're going and just kind of planning the route and where there could be potential problems, and just like you kind of know where the riots are going to be if you're going into like a big city.
No,
so
I definitely, yeah.
So
no, we definitely thought about that. We were in because we were going to Pennsylvania about a week or so ago when they were rioting up there, and I was looking on the map. I'm like, okay, what part of Pennsylvania? Like, how close to Philadelphia are we going? You know, because a lot of times when you're predominantly you're taking major highways through the U.S. and they all go right through the downtown of major cities. So yeah, you definitely want to you got to be, that's good, that's smart. Yeah, you have to watch where you're going and what's going on in that town. Just like and that's the new normal, right? Paul, bringing it back to the show.
Thank you.
A trucker normally he would just have to worry about, okay, where's the snow? You're like, is there going to be snow? I'm driving up north. Am I good to go? Am I going to be clear? No, now I have to think about, is there going to be a riot and someone's going to try and drag me out of my truck? That's what I have to think about now.
Yeah, and the other thing too is just going back to a comment that was made for the keyboard warriors there about what we haul. You never know what you're really gonna get until you get there, right? So.
No, you have no idea what you're hauling.
You just show up and they're like, okay, this is what we got for you, and they just throw
it's kind of like when I worked in Hollywood. It was like they'd call you or text you the night before, hey, I got a gig. It's 300 for 12. Or 500 for 12, or 500 for 10, and that's just saying it's $500 for 10 hours. You want to work? They don't tell you, hey, you're working on this. It's just like that's what the gig is. You want it?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I'm sure. I was kind of making the joke. It's the Mitch Hedberg joke. Like, I love the FedEx driver because he's a drug dealer and he don't even know it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm hauling a load for UPS. So the back of my truck is just filled with it's packages.
Oh, you
that
do
people are
UPS
shipping all across
sometimes?
the country. Yeah, it's just they're subcontracting the work, because they don't have enough trucks. So that's what I'm doing. So the back of my trailer is just filled. Like I have no BOL. I have no idea what's in the truck. It's just full of boxes. And who knows what's back there?
Actually,
I have no idea.
Those UPS trucks and those FedEx trucks, those guys are the worst on the highway. They have no etiquette at all. So don't take any pointers from those guys.
So can you guys like literally just go back and forth, just like perpetually picking up loads, you know, like just going back and forth as much as you want? Or is at some point you say, well, okay, I'm going to work for a week or 2 weeks, or you can work as many runs as you want just perpetually, or like how does it work? How do they schedule you?
So in theory, you have resets, right? So every 70 hours, or like you have to do a 34-hour reset. But if you can work it where basically your hours drop off, right? Like so once you hit like the 7th day, when like you're something, it's still kind of, the math is still kind of fuzzy for me, but basically like your hours can drop off. Kind of like the magic number from what I've heard is like 8 hours a day. If you work
If you work 8 hours a day, what was he gonna? You got to finish his thought here, Shane. If you work 8 hours a day,
I think he's governed by the American hours, and he's but I think what he's probably going to say is if you work 8 hours a day, you could pretty much work every day because you don't technically log in enough hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, there's some kind of maybe like a little loophole or something, but I don't know because I don't run like that. So,
all right, we lost him. Well, he is
Shane,
driving.
Are you saying if you do like team driving, you can drive like for 11 hours each or something like that?
Yeah, if you team drive, you can drive 11 hours each. So essentially, that truck can move 22 hours a day, and but if you throw in your fuel stops and mandatory breaks that each driver has to take, it's pretty much 24 hours a day.
Yeah,
which is good because team drivers that's where the real money is. If in a couple situation,
we have to stop and get gas anyways. So,
well, yeah, you'd have to stop and.
Oh, there we go. We got him back.
Hey, sorry about that.
Just finish your thought.
See how accurate I was. You were saying something about 8 hours a day.
Yeah, so essentially the magic number from what I've heard is if you work 8 hours, if you can plan it where you're working 8 hours a day, which is about, you're averaging about 500 miles a day. That's kind of the magic number where those hours just keep rolling off as you, they don't accrue, like, because it's kind of hard to explain. You're on a 70-hour work week, you can only work so many hours and then you have to do a 34-hour reset. But if you work 8 hours a day, you kind of live, because you're only supposed to drive 11. So if you only drive 8, you can kind of keep that. They just keep dropping off. That 8 keeps dropping off, and you get a new 8 the next day, and you can just kind of keep going indefinitely.
So I was right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's the gentleman that owns our company. He's got a buddy that's a single guy. He doesn't have a house. He has lived in his truck for the last 2 years, and he just works nonstop.
Yep.
Well,
a lot of guys do that.
Yeah. Well, something that Shane, talked about with me years ago is he said he was talking about how these couple driving. Now, I know Jensa loves to drive trucks too, so this could work.
She's like, no, it's not happening.
This could work for you after your kids are grown up and out of the house.
Dude, that's
what you guys are gonna do? She's gonna drive part of the day, you drive the other part of the day, and you just kind of team drive it, and you're bringing home all that bacon, and then you retire in 3 years.
Paul, they don't even have to. I don't even think they have to do that. There's probably like a loophole where if you got all she has to do is get her license and be in the truck, and then she doesn't even have to drive. I guess,
just Logan does 20.
I can just use her. I can use her hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could just drive 20 hours.
Logan's just gonna drive for the rest of his life, right?
But think about all the
when I get pulled into the weigh station, I'm like, Jensen, get in the seat.
Yeah. You guys have to keep switching. But
you just better make sure you stock up on that White Castle.
Yeah, exactly. There's a guy that
you can.
Go ahead,
Shane.
Yeah, there's a guy that I run into periodically in Ohio, and he's a Canadian driver, and him and his girlfriend, they drive basically team full time, and they're pulling in $5,000 a week.
Wow.
it's between the two of them, and they have no home or anything. They live in their truck, right? And they're driving somebody else's truck too. It's not even like their own truck. They're driving a company truck, so there is no bills, no fuel, no nothing. So
and so if you save 20 grand a month, Logan, this is Jensa's future. Just slowly warm her up to this, you know.
Right.
She's gonna be.
What I'm talking with her about.
Yeah.
You can get these. They build these. They build these new. They're making new trucks because there's a whole movement of truckers that are retiring and bringing their wives on, and it's basically like a mobile home. You know, it's got like a shower and a bed and a kitchen. It's like a little mini hotel, little mini mobile home, and you can haul around. And the wife, the husband and wife do it. And that's what I was thinking, man. That'd be pretty sweet, because we're always, we're never going to leave Arizona. We're going to live here the rest of our lives, Lord willing. But the summertime is hot, so I figure, hey, summertime, you could once the kids are gone and it's just me and her, we could buy, a used one of these, that someone had made, and drive around for the summer. Work hard for the summer for like 4 months, and then just take the rest of the year off.
Well, I'm looking right now at custom feature and interior amenities. What kind of
some of these things they have? So if you like YouTube them, they have a bathroom with a shower. They have hardwood floors. They have.
It's like an RV.
It's like an RV inside.
Yeah,
A lot of guys have. What you call it? They have like a garage in the back where
the ultimate custom sleeper,
where they keep their Harley. There's one that I want to get that actually on the back of the trailer you can put a smart car on it.
Look at that thing.
Yeah, so you have like your camper, and then you can put your smart car, and then you got your trailer, and it's just like it's a whole lifestyle. So it's pretty cool.
That's Jensa's future.
Jensa. Jensa, if you're watching this, this is your new normal.
in 15 years.
In 15 years, yeah. Yeah. So where are you now, Logan?
Are we trying to get Steve on the phone?
Yeah, we've been texting him.
Steve just bailed on us.
Yeah,
man.
he flaked out on us. Unfortunately,
we talked to him earlier. Let's do it.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I'll try calling him.
Yeah, just call him.
Yeah,
just call him. I'll mute your mic.
Okay.
Keep talking, Logan. Talk about the new normal.
So this is my prediction. I've been kind of saying for what I think is going to happen. Because the election's still up in the air. So this is my prediction of what I think is going to happen with the election. So it's either one or two things. Like obviously, like anybody with a brain can see like this, that the sucker is rigged, right? Like that they've been, doing voter fraud since the beginning of time. Like they've always been doing voter fraud. They just, because they own the machine, the machine doesn't narc on itself. The machine just keeps rolling along, right? And so, they did this vote. Obviously, there was a ton of voter fraud, and because no politician ever gets in trouble. The machine never narcs on itself. No one from the machine ever gets busted. They all just deny, and no one ever goes to jail. So that's either that's going to continue to happen, and Biden will get in office, and praise God, because the economy will probably crash, and there's probably going to be all kinds of infringements on our rights, and people will come to the Lord, and we'll get a bunch of people saved. So, praise God. So, who cares?
What if Trump actually did win after they kind of gave it to Biden, and then Trump does win? Wouldn't that would just create riots and
right. So this is much better. What I think is going to happen, which is much better political theater, is they are going to expose that there was voter fraud, and they're going to give it to Trump, and the left is going to lose
panic.
Their mind.
Can you imagine?
The media has been pushing that, this is like Joe Biden won. Trump's a dictator. He's going to try and stay in office. And think about it. Think about how it's going to happen. How it's going to happen is all of these cases, because he's filing lawsuits, right? So the lawsuits against the states and everything. So all of these lawsuits are going to go up to where? To the Supreme Court. And what did Trump just do in his section where they got super mad that he would nominate someone during an election? is the Elena K or whatever. What's her name? The new lady that just got on the Supreme Court. So they're going to lose their mind because they're going to demand that she recuse herself. She's not going to. The Supreme Court, who Trump put 3 people in the Supreme Court this term, is going to say that he won the election and that he's president. And you're just it's going to be like, if you thought this summer's riots were bad, it's going to be nothing like the riots.
I'm starting to think that this is what's going to happen.
I think it's what's going to happen too. It would be a lot more fun.
Yeah, it would be a lot more fun. I just don't want to see that Chlamydia lady as vice president.
Kamala. He's actually Trump's
that's funny, man.
Trump's actually getting ready to go on the campaign trail. So that came out a couple days ago, and there's a really interesting video that actually came out from a White House lawyer just before the election, where it says, what if a presidential candidate refuses to concede? And it talks about how a president can essentially bypass the election and just do a bunch of lawsuits, and basically Congress just votes him in, and he doesn't really even need the election. This guy it's about a 15-minute video, but it's very interesting because your Constitution, I guess, has all these rules in there that you can expose.
The what ifs.
And I guess there's just one more thing. Logan. One more thing before you chime in. They said that if what starts this whole process of what if a president doesn't concede or whatever, a candidate doesn't concede and he can take it all the way to Congress, is the concession speech is actually what stops all of that. But if you don't give the concession speech or you don't concede, then you can actually take this right to Congress. So it's funny how the media is actually pushing for Trump to concede. Why he won't concede? He won't concede. He refuses to concede because that's what starts the ball rolling for the next president.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, because these votes have to get certified, and once they're certified, then it goes to you have electors. That's what the whole electoral college is. You have these certain people that have been chosen from either the Democrat or the Republican Party, and they're the ones that actually cast the vote to decide. So their state legitimately, I think one person did it where they didn't vote for because once the state votes for Republican or Democrat, then those electors are supposed to follow suit and elect for that party, right? But I think one person in the state, one of the electors didn't give it to Trump. And it was like a big, thing. But that's legitimately if you got a bunch of them if you convinced them to do that, then it wouldn't matter that the state voted for Trump or voted for Biden. It's up to the electors to decide who they're going to vote in. And then the interesting thing is they have to do these lawsuits very quick. They have to everything has to be certified and done by January 20th. If it's not done and it's not certified by January 20th, guess who becomes president? Hello?
Who?
Nancy Pelosi.
No way.
Yeah, the Speaker of the House. If it's not certified and ratified, the votes, everything's not done, and they don't get all these lawsuits figured out by January 20th, Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, is who is next in line.
That would just be nuts if Nancy Pelosi.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh yeah,
I watched a video there. They're talking like all the different ways it can get real weird.
Sorry for that awkward silence there, guys. Shane and I were real busy getting. There he is.
There he is. Hey, brother.
What's up, man?
How you doing?
Doing good. Just getting out of church, man.
Awesome.
All right. Well, hopefully you get in a much better lit environment.
Oh, he's driving. He's driving home, so you got a long ride.
So this is Steve. Steve, I don't think a lot of people know who you are. So you want to just introduce yourself?
Well, okay. I'm a member of Faith Baptist in Louisiana with Pastor Major, and I've been saved and soul winning for about 3.5 years. I just work a lot, and and go to church a lot. That's about the extent of my life.
Well,
Especially with this COVID-19, it's have no life out of work and church anymore.
your phone is down really low. Is there any way you could turn it up? I got mine cranked it all the way here.
I've got mine wide open. But
Okay, all right. Well,
is that any better?
it is what it is. You're just going to be a low talker. You're going to be a quiet
Okay.
talker. Well, thanks for joining.
You've also done some mission stuff too, Steven. So why don't you know?
Yeah, Steve, you went with us to where were you with me?
Guyana with cousin Wayne.
Yep.
In the Blackwater Mon.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were part of the Blackwater posse. I got to turn you up somehow. I'm going to do that.
Yeah. You went twice to Guyana, or 3 times?
No, twice.
Twice. Still working on it?
No, I can't turn him up.
Well, you can do that. Post edit, can you?
Yeah. No, there's
Okay,
no post edit.
I would try and talk louder. Is that
Yeah, there you go. It's
There you
just
go.
scream. You need to talk with some enthusiasm here, Steve. Come on.
I don't have anything that interesting to say that loud, man.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, well, why don't? Hey, Steve, have you ever eaten White Castle?
Yes, sir. Sure have.
Well, so give us your opinion of White Castle. We've already been through this whole discussion, but let's get an outside source here, like
Well, I had a restaurant for 25 years, so White Castle is kind of a the quality is not what I would say.
Are you saying that White Castle is not quality food? Like that's not quality meat there?
It's best enjoyed late at night with low
The lights
comprehension
out?
level.
With a what? Sorry?
With a low comprehension level.
So, would you advise truckers to a diet of White Castle?
Man, I'd say that'd be the worst thing they should do.
Yeah, Logan decided Logan got hazed. I don't think he realized it, but he got hazed yesterday, and he had to eat 10 White Castle burgers, 2 fries, and 2 drinks, and he
Wait,
survived.
You know what? We never got down to the bottom. Did you save that last burger, Logan, and tuck it away for later?
No, I had like 2
He's
bites
almost
left. I
insulted
could've
you
put it
asked him
down,
that.
and I just put it down. I was like, you know what? Enough's enough. You got to know your limits.
So are you just craving that next trip to White Castle?
No, once was enough.
Logan, you probably where'd you put that burger? Is it did you put it on the floor behind your seat? Because I'm sure 10 years from now that burger will still be there.
It'll be
completely
crisp and pristine, just like a McDonald's hamburger.
Right, exactly.
If he gets, he's gonna have to survive on that if he gets caught in like a snowstorm or something, right?
Yeah, tribulation food.
Tribulation food, yeah. Or a weapon. He could probably throw it at a protester or something, knock him out or something.
Yeah. Fucking it, somebody.
Ninja star, right?
So, Steve, what's up with the earmuffs? Are you going shooting, or is that oh?
Wait, say again.
Are you going shooting? Because you have those big earmuffs. Are you deaf like I am? Do you need these big earmuffs so you can hear?
I'm driving, and so it's loud, and so I have some hearing aids. I'm able to isolate all the road noise so I can hear what you guys were saying.
Yeah. So you're
But they're
deaf like
actually-
me.
They're hunting muffs, absolutely, yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yep.
Hey,
Yes.
Steve, I was curious. So, how have things changed for you since this whole COVID thing hit? With work or whatever. What's different?
Well, I will say that I went through a season where I was a little dismal, and I felt like life was kind of ended for me because, you can't make trips anywhere. You can't go anywhere. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. So I will say that I didn't really understand everything that was going on, the changes that were happening. And so I'm so glad I'm in a good church with a pastor that can help me understand what's going on with the world. And I will say that I do believe that Sleepy Joe Biden might be our punishment from God for all the wickedness of America, you know.
So you think he is going to get elected then, huh?
I don't see how they're going to look. They're fighting so hard to put him in place. I don't see how that we can stop all of it. With all the social media and every news media, everybody pulling for him. I don't see that it's. I think we're outnumbered.
Well, I think this has been planned, and that's why we said it was a pandemic from the beginning, because it seems like this whole plan was kind of put into place to get rid of him and to put in. I mean, that's part of the plan. Obviously, there's a lot of layers in this agenda, but then, you know, I was thinking about it. It would just really turn the whole country into chaos if he did get elected at this point. And so, what would be better for the New World Order? Would it be better that he was elected? Or at this point, because all the chaos it would create?
I think it'd probably be better if Biden probably pushed the New World Order a lot faster. But like, Trump doesn't seem like the kind of guy who's just going to go away. He's not going to go away quietly. He's just going to be a thorn in everyone's side.
Yeah.
Right. So who knows? I mean, and even if you look at it, you know, maybe this whole thing was planned, like it was planned that there was going to be this voter fraud, and then, you know, Trump is going to challenge it, and it's going to go back and forth, and maybe it's planned, like it's just part of the whole plan or something. Who knows? You know what I mean? We'll just wait and see what happens.
Well, we all know that Trump is a puppet for Israel, and he is the one that set up the embassy in Israel. We know he was funded by the Rothschilds to get his first loan. There's an article that was written that Trump was funded by the Rothschilds. You remember that?
Yeah, that was on Forbes, wasn't it?
It was on Forbes, yeah. That was before he was elected. You can read this article for yourself about how he was going to go bankrupt, and then the Rothschild Bank bailed him out.
Yeah.
So I mean,
well, you know, what might be, you know, just thinking outside the box, it might be best that, like Rob said earlier, Trump's not going to go away, and he's actually getting ready to hit the campaign trail. And, you know, I read that he can actually run again. So if he loses this election,
he can run again.
He can run again. He's allowed 2 terms based on your Constitution, so he can run in 2024. So
I guess no one's done that before.
Yeah, nobody's done it, but hey, he could do it. So essentially, if you just think kind of like outside the box, if the guy's they said he's gonna hit the campaign trail. So if he actually loses this, he might just go on campaign for the next 4 years and just be a huge thorn in Biden's side. And, you know, for the people that want him gone, it may be just better to just let him, just let him win now, because if not, you're going to have 8 more years of Trump, because I don't think he's going anywhere.
No, I don't think he's going anywhere either. I think that he's going to come into play.
Yeah, I've been saying this for a little while now. It's my opinion that the Antichrist is going to come from the right, not from the left.
Yeah, I agree with that. Trump could be just, you know, if he goes on to bigger and better things, he might be the guy that, you know, is, like you said, just integral into getting this going, right?
Yeah, and not saying that Trump is the Antichrist or anything like that.
No, nobody's saying that.
About, like,
I know there's people typing right now.
You reprobate. They're reprobating you at this to speak.
No, I know, like his son-in-law Jared Kushner is a Jew.
Yeah,
he owns like 666 Central Park Avenue.
Yeah.
So like and they're like, he could be the Antichrist. I don't think that's the case. I'm just saying, like, as far as movements, you know, left or right, I think the devil's just too tricky, and the left obviously from the left is just too obvious.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be some kind of like a counteract.
It's just
everything that the left is thinking.
I can't imagine Biden president and that weirdo chlamydia lady as vice president. I can't even imagine that.
Name. What a great
chlamydia. That's terrible.
Her voice is it's grating. You're like,
what did Steven say?
How are you a politician? Because he's a politician. You know, they have like a good speaking voice, you know, and they can talk well. Like, you just listen to her and you're like, dude, man, you sound like a crazy person.
Yeah. Sorry, Steve, I had you muted there.
Oh, okay. What I was going to say is that Trump's followers are so fanatical. Those patriots are so 100% behind him. It's almost like they're worshiping him, and it's like it's almost a heresy that they're worshiping Trump, not God. And so you definitely need guys that will lead one group. So Biden's going to lead one group, Trump's going to lead a group, and so Satan is definitely in charge of those guys. I think they're equally wicked. I mean, Biden is a child sniffer and he's probably a reprobate, but yeah, he might be a little bit worse than Trump. But Trump funded Planned Parenthood, and so definitely they're both wicked.
See, I just see Biden as just this complete puppet. I don't see him making one decision if he did get elected. He's just going to completely do whatever, his masters tell him to do.
Absolutely, that's exactly right.
It's like a Manchurian candidate, right?
Yeah, he is, because he can't make any decision without a teleprompter. How can you expect this guy to actually make a decision as a leader of the free world?
And I don't think Kamala is any more qualified than him. I think she's very her IQ is
Chlamydia is just not. She's not.
No, what Steve said is right about Trump's followers. Like, they are fanatical. Like, just as much as like people were for Obama, it's even more for Trump. The Trump supporters, they look at him as some kind of like hero. Like, he's some kind of like movie character hero in a that he's going to save the day, and he's going to right all these wrongs, and he's going to do all the like expose the underground pedophile rings. And it's like, that's probably not going to happen. They're living some kind of like fairy tale dream that he's just like this, that he can do no wrong, and they like any kind of wrong you put in front of him. Say, okay, well, here's him holding a queer flag, saying he's going to be the best president for queers.
Yeah.
They're like, oh well, that's just it's fine because there's a 4D chess. You don't understand that he's doing this.
Aren't you guys just so glad we're saved? Because if you weren't saved and you had no hope, it would just be like if you just to sit there and just like there's no hope of eternity or anything, and just watch this thing play out. It's almost hopeless, we can kind of look at it because we're saved and just look and laugh and just kind of make jokes about it, and not really. It's serious, but to us it's not. At least to me, I'm not American, but it's not that serious because it doesn't really matter who gets in there because it's all just a big mess. It's all just orchestrated. So what are we going to do, right? It's a big show.
Yeah. No, I talked to for sure. I talked to my cousin. He was 2 days watching this election. Up for 2 days. A grown man, 2 days up watching.
Yeah. Actually, by the time this airs, who knows what's gonna, who knows what the political climate's gonna be like, right?
I'm gonna have to air this right away, so it's just gonna be like,
yeah.
I have so many shows that I need to air before this, but I think I'm gonna have to move this up because it's gonna be outdated.
It's gonna be outdated.
You're getting a little bit backed up, Paul.
What?
I said you're getting a little bit backed up.
I know, yeah. That's a good thing, man.
Well, White Castle stocks have gone up since, so that's all that really matters, right?
Yeah, maybe they'll drop another nuclear bomb on New Mexico.
Yes. So what have we learned? New Mexico sucks. White Castle's awesome.
Yeah.
What else?
I don't know. Have you wrestled any alligators down there in Louisiana lately?
No, I stay away from them. I do eat some. But I let somebody else kill them. I definitely. Hey, so but seriously, I'm just curious. How much time do you think we have left with all this going on? It's like it's progressed so much. Obama brought a lot in, but it's like it even sped up since Trump got into office and all the hatred. It seems like time is getting shorter and shorter. So what kind of?
I believe we're at the early stages. Honestly, I believe that there's a lot of time left.
When you say a lot of time,
because I think technology is going to be more advanced during the end times. But that's, you never know. I mean, we've learned this year that things can progress, by leaps and bounds overnight. So.
Yeah. If I had to guess, I would say probably within the next 10 years. I would.
So you think for sure within your lifetime?
Oh, definitely within our lifetime. Again, I'm just speculating, but I think within our lifetime. I think within the next 10 years.
I think for sure within our kids' lifetime. But, you know, I think every generation has said that, but no generation is like we are. What do you think, Logan?
Yeah, I think like when Obama got elected, like a lot of things you could see, you know, kind of speed up. Well, it really, you say Obama, but really, like Bush started a lot of it.
Yeah,
like with
Bush.
9/11, you know, like
Bush.
with the Patriot Act,
The
and all the
first
spying,
Bush,
and
yep.
Obama really just furthered already the things that Bush was already doing. You like, but you had like the NDAA that got passed, and just more and more spying and the endless wars, and then and then everything that happened this year, you like Paul, what you're saying, like you kind of see it speed up. For the last few years, I've kind of been feeling that like I have a confidence that I'll see all my kids get married. Like I'm going to marry all my kids off for sure. I don't see it happening before then at all.
Yeah, me either.
But after that, I definitely see it. Like for sure, like I would just be amazed. Like if I like lived my whole life and died on my deathbed, an old man, and and it didn't happen, I would just be totally shocked.
Yeah, me too. What about you, Rob? What's your feelings on it?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Shane too. Like, I think definitely it'll happen within our lifetime. I'm not sure if it'll happen within 10 years. It's possible, but one thing I've noticed, just like, you know, I'm not really old. Like, I'm 43 right now, but I'm old enough where I've seen, you know, several decades and stuff, and I can say that looking back on things, just the progression of society and this whole agenda, and you know, now that I'm saved and you know, I've read the Bible and learned a lot of things and stuff like that. It's like, it's like we're a lot closer now, obviously. But one thing I've noticed is the more time that goes on, the faster things happen. It's not linear. It's like exponential. So, you know, maybe it is going to be within 10 years, but I would exactly like, just like Logan's saying, I'd be surprised if it, you know, within our lifetime, because we're all kind of, you know, middle age, like 30s, 40s, 50, like around there, whatever. Right. So, I think if we end up living out our natural lives, you know, 80, 90, 100 years old, if you know, God willing, right? I'd be really surprised if we don't see, like, if we're not in the end times.
I mean,
you know,
especially,
and then, you know, also like the Bible says, there's this last push for the gospel, and you know, just from this whole movement, like the whole New IFB movement, you know, obviously there's saved people everywhere. It's not just from the New IFB, but you know, it's just like there's just been this whole like revival and resurgence of, you know, like legitimate soul winners, people that have read their Bibles, they know the doctrine, they go out soul winning regularly. There's like this revival, and to see this, you know, all these soul winners be raised up, and you know, I believe it's possible that, you know, we are going to be part of that last push for the gospel around the world before the end times come. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's definitely possible, right?
I 100% agree with that.
Like how much, you know, like, you know, I when you think about it, like, you know, look at how fast things happen just in 2020, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, that's why I kind of come to that conclusion of, you know, within 10 years, right? I'm not, you know, sticking to that. That's not hard, you know, like a hard line, but I'm just thinking, like, you know, if I was to live another 30, 40 years, like how much worse can it get? You know, like it's bad now. Right. Like how much worse can it get in another 30 years when, you know, a year ago, you know, we were all at, a fire breathing conference, I think this time last year. And, you know, we were still traveling and we had all these missions trips booked and everything. And now here we are.
A lot of hopes and dreams.
You know, 2020 was supposed to be the year of vision, right? And all that got quashed in within 2-3 months. So I just wonder, we got this election that's just gone crazy, or for you guys it's gone crazy. We've got you know, we're under lockdown, we got a virus, we got all this stuff coming. I just wonder how much worse can it get?
Well, one thing I thought would happen, I thought for sure Trump would get reelected because of his love towards Israel, because we know that they need the temple rebuilt, they need that stuff to all come in place. So I just felt like if Biden was elected, then they couldn't get as much through for laws and legislation as they could if Trump was continued to stay in office, especially if they had all the riots and everything because of this whole election debacle. I think it would be just perfect if Trump won at this point, and it would be perfect for the New World Order. And especially because of his Rothschild backing and everything. It's just like, how can this chlamydia become vice president? Just, I can't see it. Maybe I just don't want to see it.
Well,
what's Steven's opinion? Sorry.
Well, listen, Paul, you said that the technology, it's going to be down the road, but if you follow what Elon Musk is doing, he's got all these cars he wants to build with all these cameras, grabbing all the information with AI, and then he's experimenting with the neural link. I really do believe that. And listen, I could be wrong.
And internet for everyone, same thing. Internet for everyone.
That's right. And so I think Trump is going to be a big part of all of that, bringing it in. Everybody's be so angry. The right's going to be so angry. They're going to use Trump to facilitate so many things that we can't perceive, and Biden's going to be so weak that it's going to make everyone hate each other even more and control us even more. I think it's going to go faster than we can imagine.
Yep. I got to mute his channel, man. It is loud.
That's okay.
Well, this is the new normal episode, and so I'm glad we got into some of this talk.
Yeah. So
where do we take it from here?
Where do we take it from here? Any more?
We're at the hour mark, so.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't know. They're getting. I've been watching in the news where they're talking about getting ready to lock us down again in Canada. Yeah. And I'm not sure, is that anything happening? Like, have you guys heard anything down here about that?
Okay, wait, hold on. Before you talk about this, because this is another point. So if Biden gets elected, how can they continue with the virus being overtaking the world? Doesn't the virus have to go away if Biden gets elected? Because
I think the virus has to go away either way.
No, either way, it stays here. Yeah, what a great tool. Why would you throw away a tool that's so effective?
That's why I agree. I agree, but they blame Trump for the virus coming here. So, like, if the virus stays here, aren't they going to just?
No, they'll continue. They'll push all the blame on Trump. Like, hey,
because it came here originally. It came here.
Trump.
Yeah. Well,
it'll all be Trump's fault. It'll get even worse. The death rate will skyrocket. The economy will crash, and it'll be all Trump's fault.
Yeah.
And they'll just use it to, they'll keep it going. Like, it's not going away for sure. It's going to get worse. And, like, I was sending you stuff today, Paul. I don't know if you're on Instagram.
Nope, not on Instagram.
I was sending you stuff on your. Okay, well then someone got your email. And name.
No, I think I am. I did subscribe, but I haven't been on.
Like a ghost account.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was sending you articles. Basically, they're floating around the ideas of, like, certain states and certain cities are like someone posted about Ticketmaster, that Ticketmaster is considering not allowing. Did you post that today about not allowing to go? You can't go to a concert unless you can prove you've been vaccinated.
Yeah. We were just talking about this earlier today, Shane.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
Yep. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the beginning, because going to a concert or like a show or whatever like that, some kind of live performance, it's kind of a luxury, right? So you don't really have to do that, but that's kind of how they'll start it. Is you can't go to the concert, you can't go see your favorite band.
Next thing, you can't travel,
and then they'll just be like, well, yeah, it works for Ticketmaster. Well, why can't it work for our industry, right?
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's exactly what you were talking about when you made a documentary at the beginning of this, your pandemic documentary. That's exactly what.
This is what I've been saying since the beginning.
Yeah.
And you know what? We've been proven right.
Steven, you got him muted, right?
Oh, I have Steven muted. Were you going to see?
No, I didn't even.
No, we've been proven right, because, I mean, it's all happening, and the death rates haven't gone out of control. Now, I'm not saying they never will, but it's, the survival rate at this point is, like, pretty stinking high.
Yeah, no, it's...
Yeah, and all they got to do to just, like, justify lockdowns is just do more testing, the numbers go up. Like, just the last several days in Toronto, like, a couple weeks ago, they introduced, a few weeks ago, they introduced, like, a tiered system for, like, green, orange, red, that kind of stuff, like, depending on what level we're at. And
it's like a terror alert?
It's something like that. But for the virus, right? Before it was like stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. because people were just complaining. They're like, you know, they're getting cabin fever. They're freaking out. You know, business owners are freaking out and stuff. But, you know, they introduced this thing and they started reopening, you know, different parts of Ontario and Toronto and stuff. And then now the last several days, the confirmed cases are just going up and up like every day. Like they're just every day keep breaking the record and stuff. And now they're talking about lockdowns again. And yeah, like exactly like Logan said, they're not getting rid of this virus. You know what I mean? Like it's just, it's a perfect tool to just control everybody. They could just, because think about it. How are you going to get rid of a virus? It's a virus. You're not going to get rid of it. You can like maybe manage it, control it or whatever, but you're not going to eliminate it.
It's like the flu. You're not going to eliminate the flu.
No.
Well, exactly.
Well, this is just SARS. This is just SARS. COVID is just SARS from 2000 whatever. Just
it's a form
repackaged,
of the flu.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's crazy, but you know, just if you want to take it to a bigger kind of spectrum, if the states can't get rid of it, it's a worldwide problem. The whole world's got to get rid of it.
What
really.
better way for world government?
Exactly. So really, I don't think it might not be in the power of Trump or Biden to get rid of it. The world's got to get rid of it
Nothing's
somehow.
in the power of Biden.
Or chlamydia. That just sounds like it needs a vaccine right there.
Go ahead, Steve.
So definitely thinking that if Biden being so weak that he could turn over power of America to another country, that may be his position, his purpose of all of that, because he and Kamala are so weak that they're not strong leaders. They're not number one men. They're followers.
Yeah. I mean, where did that chlamydia lady even come from? Like, where did she come from? Like, I never even heard of her until this. Did anyone hear of her? Did anyone know about her?
Wasn't she from California or something?
I don't know. Does anyone know about her now? Does he know anything about her?
I know nothing. No. I just know the big players.
Yeah, we lost Logan.
We lost Logan?
Yeah, he's
maybe he had a White Castle run or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, I don't know anything about Kamala.
So,
talk to us, Steve.
All right. So Kamala and her husband, I think, are both attorneys, and they're worth about $3 million. I'd be real curious to watch what they're worth after 4 years if they get in office.
Right.
You know.
Right. They all seem to get very wealthy. Yeah. All right, we got Logan back on with us.
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you.
Well, I think that pretty much wraps up the episode today.
You
what
think
do you
that's
think?
it? Do you think it's all we got?
I mean,
I don't know. The last time we did this, we went off in a whole other tangents, another direction. So,
yeah. Well, you never know what you're getting when you have
a
show.
4 of us on here.
Well, we had a good a good new voice on here today.
Yeah.
But we got to get you, man. You're so loud. I have to keep muting you. You have to like wave me down so you can speak. You got anything to say before I mute you?
No.
Hey, you never gave us the answer on your timeline. Well, how long do you think before this all comes down? Or did he already answer that? I don't know.
Well, so I definitely think we're at the beginning of sorrows. I've heard a pastor say that we might be in the fifth seal, kind of change up the way it's laid out. The scriptures aren't really correlated. And I'm thinking 10 years. I don't see how that we can not go this much further. 2020 was so much wickedness and escalated so fast that I don't think I can survive 10 more years of it.
I got to ask him.
Go ahead.
You don't believe that we're in the fifth seal, though, right?
I don't know the Bible well enough to speculate on that.
All right.
You're going to get
just making sure because you know the keyboard warriors are just gearing up right now as we speak.
Yeah.
Fingers are working overtime. Yeah. Fifth seal. Who the heck does this guy think he is?
Dude, you've been shared all over social media.
Yeah.
Right now.
You might have just got your reprobate card right there.
I'm just saying I heard.
Yeah. All right. That's why I'm trying to clear it up here. I'm trying to get you out of reprobate jail. So
Pull him out of, bro. You got to pull him out of reprobate purgatory.
reprobate purgatory. Yeah, that's it. So yeah.
All right, we got you back, Logan.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Where are you at, man?
I'm on the border of California and Arizona.
Oh, so you're headed towards the good side, towards California.
Yeah.
Where are you headed to now? You're headed to what city?
Oh,
we lost him.
Oh, yeah.
Side of Anaheim.
Oh, okay. And then you're turning around, going right back to Arizona?
Yeah, right back to Goodyear, and then having my my new normal birthday party for my kids.
Nice. Oh, what's that? What's that look like?
Which is limited and limited space, and then you have to have, then I even have certain family members that are not coming because they're afraid of the COVID.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
How's your sister?
So,
Yeah, do we have a Corona update for your sister?
Did we lose him?
We lost him. He's in a bad spot.
Oh,
I think Logan's done.
Yeah,
for the night.
you know what? When you're driving, when you something happens to the phones when you cross state lines, it drops calls all the time. Because when I do my normal run, I cross through 3 states, and usually out of the two states, I'll usually drop the call. So that's probably what's going on with him right now.
He's probably still talking because he's still on.
He's still going?
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, well, but yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
So you have your business still, Steve?
Yes, sir. I sold my restaurant and Streamline, and I'm just doing golf carts and used cars. And my business has never slowed down. I've never worn a mask. Per se, I gotta wear a mask sometimes to go to the store and buy something to drink or eat. But in the town that I live in, about 15,000 population, nobody wears masks. It's like we all know that it's not really. I know people dying from it, but it's not anything worse than the flu. I don't personally know anybody that died from it. But one of the questions that I wonder about that. In Revelation 21, where it talks about where the pestilence and 1,000 fall on one side and 10,000 on the other side. So the question, I guess, for those that are listening, how much protection does a Christian have if he's obedient to God's law, if he's serving God, if he's out there soul winning, preaching the gospel? Is there added protection? And because the Bible promised in Revelation of that we're not going to fall for the pestilence, and I want to urge people to use caution and wisdom, but I definitely want to think. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts. Are we getting more protection or extra protection as a believer than an unbeliever?
Yeah, I think if God wants us to go, I mean, we're going to go.
Yeah.
I think we just live our lives as normal.
Yeah, when your time's up, your time's up, and like when we die, we're going to heaven. So you can't threaten me with a good time. Come on. So.
And I mean, I personally believe if I get the virus, I get the virus. Who cares? I'm not going to stop my life and change the course of what I do every day because of this. Nothing of a virus.
Yeah, I believe with what Stephen's saying there that if we're just serving the Lord and we're out there soul winning and reading our Bibles and going to church and all that stuff, and I believe that that we'll be protected because Jesus says the laborers are few, and he wants people saved, and why would he take out people that are actually doing the work and out there just trying to get souls saved? Why would he be just taking us all out with with a virus? To me, I'm not God, so I don't make the decision. But just to me, in my logic, it doesn't make sense, right? Why he would take us out.
Well, I think honestly, you have more of a chance to get taken out by stopping everything and cowering in your home, and I think
Absolutely.
God will protect you more if you. Yeah, what do you think, Rob?
Yeah, in Revelation 21, verse 8, the first thing it says is, but the fearful, right? The very first thing it says is fearful. So I think that, if we're afraid of stuff, that is not good. Like, when you're afraid, it's basically what you're saying is you don't trust God. You're not leaning on God and stuff, right?
Right.
And I was having this discussion with like Shane in our group here in Toronto, like our soul winning group and stuff. And if you think about it, if you look at the entire population of the earth, we're about 8 billion or so, right? Now, how many of those people are actually saved? Like a very, very tiny percentage of the human population is actually saved. You take all these, Islam and Judaism and Sikhism, Buddhism, Hinduism, all this stuff here. They're obviously not saved. They don't believe on the Lord Jesus Christ. But then when you take all the Christian-based religions, even, Catholicism, Orthodox, and Protestants, and Jehovah's Witness, Mormon, and Seventh-day Adventists, all that stuff they're not saved. They believe in faithless works. And then you take the actual, people that claim to believe the Bible, let's say Baptists or any other, churches that believe the gospel or whatever. There's so few. Like, 99.99% of the world is not saved. So if you take the people that are actually saved, right, how many of those people that are actually saved, let's say, have read their Bible cover to cover? Very, very, very few of those people. And how many of those people that have read their Bible cover to cover or study it, how many of them actually go soul winning, like as a population of the earth, like very, very small percentage? And then how many of those people that go soul winning are actually effective soul winners? They're efficient at what they do. It's a tiny, tiny percentage. And if you think about this, we are part of that very tiny, small group of Christians that are saved, have read our Bibles, we soul win, and we're effective at soul winning. So, just think logically, if you're God and, your main thing is just to get people saved and to get them in heaven, it would make sense to me that you would try to protect those people that are actually going out and doing the work and trying to preach the gospel and get people saved. So I believe, just like, kind of like what Stephen was saying, is that, during the tribulation, I believe that if you're faithful to God, you don't fear, and you just go out and do the work, I believe God will protect those Christians. And I believe that those are the ones that will make it through the tribulation and will get to see Jesus coming in the clouds. And that's just been my prayer, for our group here and all Christians that are doing the same thing, that they would be counted worthy to make it through the tribulation and to actually get to witness Jesus coming in the clouds. I think that's what it's going to take is that blessing is going to come at a cost, and that cost is obedience.
Yeah, and look, people, if things are not going to get better, they're going to get worse. And so if we can't, do stuff now, if we can't do, what God expects of us now, I mean, we're not going to do it when things are worse.
Can you guys?
Hey, we can hear you, Logan.
Okay. No, I think that was such a great point that Rob made. Like, if anybody that was nervous, like, if I could just make a clip of what Rob just said,
right?
It's so perfect. Like, it's you have no idea like how true that is, and how perfect that is. And if you have fear right now, like, just think about that. Think about that. Like, go and watch Brother Segura's sermon that he preached on Sunday about fear, about this.
Oh, we lost him again.
Like this, what?
We lost you. We lost you, Logan, man. We lost you, man.
Like the lame Christians that aren't doing the work, they're just taking up space. You're going to die a dumb way. You're going to get coronavirus. You're going to get, or something like that. But if you're doing the work, you're not going to, you're going to be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, totally agreeing.
And it's not like, we're not talking about like tempting God. We're not talking about jumping out of airplanes without a parachute. Like, we're just talking about living a regular life like normal people. That's all we're talking about. We're not tempting God and trying to see like how far we can push it, We're just living a regular life, going out soul winning.
Right.
Steven, you got anything?
That was a great point, Rob.
What do you think of that, Steve?
Oh, I agree with that. And we go out soul winning, and none of us wear masks. We don't think twice about it. We're just going door to door. We forget about the COVID-19, and then we get reminded at the door. People are scared to speak to us, and they're just living in fear in their homes, hiding in their basements. And we go out every Sunday, the whole church, and just seems like that God has protected us so far. I definitely think that it makes sense for God to protect those that are. God wants those to believe on His Son, and there's got to be some extra protection added into that. But I agree, we're not supposed to tempt the Lord. I agree with that.
Right. So I think this is a good kind of closing thought there. I want to go around the group here and just kind of give one final statement. Rob, why don't you start us off and just kind of talk about any thoughts you have?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, you know, we talk about all this stuff that's going on and everything, and it's good to be informed and just keep your finger on the pulse and everything. But at the end of the day, you know, we can't focus on Satan. We have to focus on Jesus, right? So at the end of the day, we just got to keep chugging forward and doing what God wants us to do and not be afraid and know that we're children of God and He loves us. He's our Father and that He's going to protect us. And we just have to be obedient and stay in our Bibles and just listen to good preaching and keep fellowshipping with, you know, our Christian brothers and sisters and go soul winning. And that's just got to be the way it's got to be, you know, coronavirus or not. You know, Joe Biden or chlamydia or Trump or whoever's in power, it doesn't matter. We just got to keep going forward, doing what we got to do. God's going to bless that. And, you know, even so, come Lord Jesus.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. And, you know, I was just thinking about this earlier today about, you know, the people that I know that are actually, you know, I surround myself with soul winners and people that are always out preaching, and, you know, the people that I talk to during the day as I'm driving. And generally speaking, the people that are actually, that I know that are just like kind of that person that Rob described earlier, that are actually out there doing the work and just not, you know, maybe they're a little nervous about the coronavirus, but, you know, they are actually just in their Bibles, going to church, soul winning, trying to get people saved. You know, all those people that I know, which is quite a few, they've all done okay in 2020. Like, you know, they weren't starving. They didn't lose their homes. They're not dying. You know, they didn't get the coronavirus. You know, all that stuff. They just happened to just, you know, day by day, week by week, month by month, they made it through, and they made it through okay. So, you know, I think that we can see a testament to that if you just kind of, you know, for those of you out there that are doing this, like, you know, it might have been a horrible year in the media's eyes, but really, was it, you know, did you starve? Was it really that bad, you know? So just, that's my thought.
Yeah, good point. Logan, final thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with that. You know, the Lord's definitely carried me through and my family through this year. You know, it was a little bit of a, you know, different career paths and things happen, but the Lord provided the whole time. You know, like, probably one of my, you know, better years. Even though one business failed, the other business picked up, and so, like, the Lord was there the whole time. You know, and my family's been healthy, and we've been doing good, and we've been going out soul winning, and going to church, and that's what we're going to continue to do. And so I would encourage everyone else, you know, like, you know, enjoy, you know, like, you know, enjoy these conversations, enjoy the you know, the content that gets put out, you know, by like-minded believers, and that we can enjoy each other's and fellowship and talk and kind of joke around about these, you know, more serious subjects. But we don't have to, you know, be, you know, stressed out about it. You know, we can have faith and trust in God that He's going to carry us through this. And just like what they're saying, like, you know, we gotta steel our,
man,
you know, because of this. You know, like, what are we going to do when the actual tribulation comes? You know, like, so let's steel ourselves a little bit against that day that will come, and that we'll just be able to continue to do the work. So
awesome. Steve, final thoughts?
So what I'm thinking with 2020, so much more has progressed as far as the wickedness and the side of that I think as Christians that we need to step into what roles can we fulfill that go beyond what we've done in the past. And like Rob and Shane have started this soul winning class, and they've gotten so many saved, you know, scores of people saved and it's growing every day. And so I started a devotional at work with my mechanics. I got a few men that work for me, and so I started doing a devotional with them every day, about 30, 40 minutes. And I started praying that, that God give me 100 mechanics, that I can make more disciples, and I just think that we need to look for and pray for new ways for us to serve God, to fight even harder against what Satan has presented this year.
Awesome. Well, I mean, I think that's pretty much our show today. I want you quick, Rob, to plug what you guys are doing in Toronto, because I think, what you're doing up there is growing and getting bigger and bigger. How can they join you, Rob?
Yeah, well, we just start off with a small group, just a handful of people up here. We, Shane and I, we decided to start a group, just a soul winning group. It's nothing that interferes with church. We meet up on Saturdays. We also go soul winning on Thursdays, after work for a few hours. Anyone that wants to join in is welcome. But on Saturdays, it's almost like a fellowship, but like a soul winning school. And, we're praying for, we're not only praying for just reaping a harvest of fruit. We're praying for more trees. We want to wash, rinse, and repeat. We want to duplicate ourselves, not just in reproducing other Christians, but we want to reproduce other soul winners. So that's kind of what the focus of this group that we got going on. And, it's growing to the point where it's now we're between 15 and 20 people. I could see it even before the end of the year, God willing, even 30 people. It's growing. People that are going out, they're fired up. And some of the people in our group, are people that we got saved through soul winning, and then they got fired up and they joined, and they're learning how to soul win, and they're getting people saved, and it's it's growing and stuff. So, anyone in the area, in Southern Ontario, that wants to get a hold of us can either get a hold of me or Shane. I don't know what the best way is, maybe text us, call us, email us, or whatever, if we can post that on your your show or something like that.
I mean, do you have a public number or a public email that people can contact you?
Shane, what's the what's the website?
info@faithfulservants.ca.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, just email Rob and Shane, and then meet up with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so we set aside Saturdays. It's basically we get together around 1:30. We fellowship for a few hours. The guys, the men, in the group, we take turns preaching, so we get good practice. Short sermons, long sermons, whatever you want to preach. We get together, we eat, preach, sing some song, play some Bible games. And we also make some announcement on some, events that we got planned. And, also we want to disciple people, and we want to help them to learn how to soul win. We give them our experience so that maybe they can fast forward and they don't have to make, as many mistakes as we made when we were learning. And then the rest of the afternoon for several hours, we just go out and soul win. We have a ton of fun. It's just really great. And it's just been a blessing. God's been blessing this group. We've gotten a lot of people saved. And even before we started counting, we were doing this for several months. So we probably, the number that we got going on now has probably been doubled, from since we started counting, right? It's just been insane.
Wow. Yeah. So that's a very exciting work you're doing. Up there.
Yeah. And yeah, it's been really good because we've kind of, because of Rob and mine, our experience, soul winning over the years, we've kind of adapted a lot. We've kind of given some of the pointers, I think, on an earlier show about just things that we've been doing and our successes with COVID. And so we've been just teaching it to our people, just this is kind of the new normal or the new strategy, right? We didn't reinvent the wheel. We've just kind of made it more efficient. And that's what we've been teaching people. So, and again, God's been really blessing it, and we're seeing a lot of fruit come out of this.
Are they meeting at your house, Rob?
No, we have different locations and stuff. Yeah. We can meet at different people's houses, but now we're kind of meeting at one of the churches, and the pastor there has been real gracious, allowing us to just use one of the rooms there to meet up and stuff. sometimes if we don't have a spot to meet up, you know, we can like rent conference rooms and that kind of stuff, enough for just to have us there. It's just for like a few hours, but the main thing has nothing to do with the location, because we change locations around a lot. It has to do more with just like the group and the fellowship, and you know, we're just there to like help everyone grow and become a better soul winner. And then obviously it's the soul winning. Yeah. So, you know, after all that, we're going out for several hours and soul winning and stuff like that. But the location changes all the time.
Well, you need that camaraderie. You need that team, especially when you don't really have a main church to go to. You kind of need that group.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
Keep everything going and keep excited and to keep the momentum.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we did that also. Like, we specifically wanted to meet up on a Saturday because it's just like an extracurricular thing. We didn't want it to interfere with, you know, people going to church or whatever. So, you know, that's, you know, they go on Sunday and stuff. So this is just something we do, like extracurricular, just like some extra, you know, soul winning and just fellowship and stuff like that.
Awesome. Well, I think tonight's show is pretty fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
we hit the ground running, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, any other thoughts, or is that pretty much the show? You got anything?
I enjoyed it. It's a good night. I appreciate it.
Cool, man. Well, good to see you, Steve. I hope you have a good day, man. God bless.
All right, praying for you, Paul.
All right. All right. Well, I think that's the night, guys.
Yeah. All right.
Fun, huh?
That's a fun show.
Another fun show. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Logan's still there.
Logan's still here.
I'm still here. I'm still here hanging out.
All right.
Yeah. We gotta, Logan. We gotta get talking about that soul winning on the road trucking thing. We should really get working on that in the near future.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it.
Yeah. A lot of receptive people on the road. You know, at docks and at truck stops and stuff. So.
Yeah, there's so many things you want to do, but it's just there's not enough time.
Yeah. If one thing COVID did was it really helped us, at least in Toronto, to just really re-examine our backyard. You know, we spent a lot of time. Rob and I spent a lot of times over the years going out to all these soul winning marathons, all these countries, and all these missions and stuff like that. And you know, we just decided to you know, with COVID, we didn't have an opportunity. There was no choice. You can't travel. So we just looked at just working our areas, and you know, we've just seen a lot of fruit just come out just from our own backyard. So you know, it's been really good. So there you know, you can go to Africa and win, you know, a ton of people there, and you know, from the looks of it, you can just go in your backyard and there's people there too, lots of people. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us here today. Another fun episode with my friends.
Yeah.
I appreciate everyone tuning in. At least it's not 1 a.m. like last time.
Yeah.
So that's better.
Yeah.
But
and there's no T-shirts everywhere. It's not. There's not so much carnage here. Paul's gotten better at the T-shirts.
A little less chaos. Less chaos tonight. But
maybe that's why Logan didn't come by.
Oh.
He didn't want to get put to work. He didn't want to be like slave driven.
Yeah, that could be it.
Sweatshop, yeah.
Yeah. Well, guys, make sure to go out and get the new shirts. Say no to mandatory vaccines. Plandemic. Man, these all turned out great. And if you order one, you know I have to work for an hour to make it.
Yep.
And it seems to take 2 shirts for every shirt I sell at this point.
That's funny.
But, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you share this video. And thanks for watching. God bless.
Good night.
All right,
God bless everyone.
Yeah, bye.
Make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the Framing World. Make sure you check the video description for our backup channels. See you tomorrow. Bye guys.